Charmaine, and my guest today is the first female to coach in the NFL for the Arizona Cardinals. As a female trailblazer with an unparalleled football career, a PhD in psychology, and a passion for inspiring and educating others, well, she is here today to tell us her story. I want you to help me welcome Dr. Jen Welter, affectionately known as Dr. J. Help me welcome Dr. Jen Welter to the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm so glad to have you on the show today because you have done something that I'm sure that so many other women felt that they probably could do, but probably was so discouraged to do. And you are a trailblazer among women. So I just want to say thank you so much for being that trailblazer for us.
It's an honor. Anytime you can literally change the game, why wouldn't you?
I know that's right.
I never grew up. I never grew up dreaming of the NFL because there was no place that I could look to an NFL sidelines and think, oh my gosh, I want to grow up and fill her shoes, or better said, her headset. So to have been able to give girls permission to have that dream, I'm honored.
And I think it's so great because I know when I first heard of you, and see, the thing I think that makes you so different, Dr. Jen, is not only were you a football player, you're also a coach, but you are cute. See, that changes the game up all the way. I said, and she cute on top of that, because you have some women that probably could look manly and say, you know what, I can see them playing football, but you are also pretty on the field and you keep your pretty off the field. So I want to say thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate getting the key points. Often as females, we don't necessarily get that love from each other. I think we should do a better job of giving each other our props. So thank you so much for that one.
You're welcome. And I want to say congratulations on making it to the playoffs, but I know it's so disappointing not making it to the Super Bowl. So how's everybody doing?
It's tough. I had the conversation with a number of the guys, and they're like, man, we'll be back next year, coach. They're like, that was not a good one, but, we're going to train hard in the off season. And, you just have to get your mind right to realize that it's always a journey, and it's hard not to make it to the Super Bowl. But the season that they had, it left a lot to be proud of, and a good foundation to build from. They have a very young, feisty, fiery team in Arizona, and I think that it'll be a good team for years yet to come.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And they did do good. And I was just thinking, I'm like, to get so close to something, and for those who it may be their first year playing in the NFL and be that close, and then have to sit at home and watch the game and root on some of your fellow friends in the NFL. So, but for you, I want to get back to you because your story is so amazing. And I want to know, where did your love for football even come from? Did your dad play football? Your siblings play football? Where did that come from for you as a girl?
It wasn't from my dad, and it wasn't from many big brothers like most people think. My dad was not even the guy who would sit, and watch football on Sundays. He was he's an Army hero. So my toughness comes from my dad, no doubt. My belief that you can do multiple things and do them very well in life, that comes from him as well. He was a race car driving doctor. So we laugh and say people didn't get that, I could play football and be a doctor back in the day. And I would say, oh, no, that comes really honestly. I get the crazy card from him. But the love for football came from growing up in Vero Beach, Florida, where, it's like a religion there. The whole town shuts down on a Friday night for everybody to go watch like the gladiators of the game compete. And it was the place to me that was it was magical. And, I remember having great friends of mine who were cheerleaders. And, as I grew up, and they'd be like, oh, Jen, you'd be such a bass, because, I was strong and they wanted to step on my head. But I would laugh because I would be like, oh no, like, I love you guys and what you do is great, and it's not going to take anything away from it, but I would probably drop somebody because I'd want to watch the game. And, that was our running joke, is like, Jen couldn't ever be a cheerleader. She'd be too busy watching the game.
But I want to know, how did you go from watching the game to saying, I want to play the game?
I always wanted to play.
Really?
I was, I remember even in high school, like my senior year in high school, I was at a brand new high school, and our football team was not that good because they were so young. A lot of the guys who were really good at football, they didn't want to leave their established program, right? So we had a really young team at Sebastian River High School, and I went to the coach and I said, Coach Bevel, I think you should let me play football. And he looked at me and he was like, Miss Welter, you are my favorite soccer player. You know that, because I was the sweeper and I had a reputation for taking everybody out. He said, but I am going to ask you not to play football. And let me tell you why. I just looked at him. I was expecting that answer, like girls can't play football and, any of those demeaning kind of things. And he just said, I'm a guy. I'm a football guy. And we're the worst ones. He said, here's what's going to happen if you play football, Miss Welter. Said, you are a heck of an athlete. You would inevitably make some guy look bad. And either him or one of his teammates would cheap shot you. I would kill him and go to jail. Miss Welter, please don't play football. And to that, it was such an honest answer and such a genuine response. I was like, all right, Coach Bethel. And he's still a good friend to this day, because it wasn't that girls can't play football or you won't make it or you're not physically capable. It was, please don't go out there and get yourself killed.
That was good. So who gave you your big break to play?
I played rugby in Boston College. That was the closest I could get to football. Fell in love with the game. Even told Coach Bethel, Coach, I found rugby and I'm going to play. And he was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect for you. But after college, going from the rugby field, I had the opportunity to try out for what was then called the Mass Mutiny. They're now renamed, but still in Boston. And I literally went to an open tryout, made it, and played for, 14 years after that, though I only played my first 2 seasons in Massachusetts.
So my question, if your coach had that reaction, Jen, if someone hurts you, I'm going to have to kill him and go to jail. What was your dad's response when you said, hey, Dad, I want to play football? What was his reaction?
He was happy. He's like, at least now she has pads and a helmet. I was going from rugby to football, so it was kind of a safer bet.
And you also became the first woman to play running back for a men's football team. What was that like, especially playing running back? And, people want to get you and take you out. How are you able to take those hits?
Well, it hurts, but you get up and you do it again.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say it didn't hurt to get tackled by a giant man. It does. I'm not, if I told you anything other than that, I would lose all credibility. But, it was a great setup. And actually the guys that I played with, we had a lot of respect for each other. When we came out of it, it's like family. But it was scary, exciting, and groundbreaking all at once.
So did they have a separate locker room for you since you were a female on the team?
I actually got ready with the dance team. So there was my time with the cheerleaders. It all comes full circle.
Okay. Now I wanted to know, with you being cute, you're attractive, did you get a lot of cat calls from a lot of the men on the field?
I didn't, actually. I never really had that. When I played arena, there was a little bit of that. But in the NFL, not at all. But then again, I wouldn't have heard it anyway because the fans are so far away. But yes, when I played in arena. But, my guys were so protective. I would look at them, I'd be like, don't you dare let them use me to get to you. I'll kill you myself. Because, I was not going to have it be a point of weakness with them.
How does a woman demand respect from a male-dominated sport, and you're a female and you're just killing it on the field, but then also you have to demand your respect as a player?
I don't think you demand respect. I think you earn respect.
Mm-hmm.
With my guys, when I went to the Cardinals, I wasn't going to go and say, you have to listen to me because I'm a woman or because I'm your coach. It was actually very easy. They gave me respect. They watched my game film before I went in. They'd be like, hey, Coach, we watched your highlight tape. You were a monster. So they, in most situations, I think where you try and demand respect, you're actually setting yourself up as an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
When you show value, whatever that value is, these guys want to get better. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female, what your age is, what your, ethnic background is. None of that matters. If you can help them get better, they're going to respect you and listen. some of them it'll take a little bit more time to see that, you know what you're talking about. But once they see that and know that, it becomes a very easy, natural dynamic.
That's good. How did you move up the ranks from being a player and now you're a coach in the NFL?
Well, I'm not still, and I hope to be back there. But, it was street credibility. I played for the Texas Revolution for a season, and then I went from player to coach the next season because, I had a great rapport with the players and the coaches, and, I earned their respect. And that's what, it was really the relationships and the respect that I had established with the guys when I played with them that inspired Wendell Davis to offer me a coaching position.
Was your knowledge and skills ever challenged by any players?
Not really.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a certain dynamic, and guys would tell you this all the time. Anybody who's been in the game is the locker room handles itself. And so if there was, I remember one of my guys, Clinton Solomon, just a great guy in arena, and he was like, don't you worry about that stuff, Jen. Like, the locker room handles itself. Somebody gives you a hard time, you let us handle it. You don't have to handle it yourself. And those guys really had my back, and it was like that all the way through the NFL. They really, the coaches had my back, and so did the players. So if there was somebody who maybe had a problem with it, I think the guys handled it before it even got to me.
What advice would you give a female? I don't want to even say young women, because sometimes people say would give young women, but you may have some women who may be in their late 30s, 40s, and still trying to pursue their dream, and probably told they couldn't do it because they are a female. What advice would you give them?
Don't ever let somebody take away your dream. You never know where your breakthrough is going to happen, and you can't put a time limit on that. I played 14 years women's in order to then later go on and get an opportunity, but it wasn't an opportunity I could have seen before it happened. So keep working hard, keep your head down, and keep the faith.
That's awesome. Dr. Jen, it was truly a pleasure having you on the show, hearing your story. Thank you so much for being a trailblazer among women. We really appreciate you. Absolutely. And it was great to have me. Keep up, ladies. You got to keep working. That's all you can do. Look, amen to that. Lady Charmaine.